Welcome to our podcast, AI in Real Life, Real Talk with Real Experts, an effort on behalf of AI Institute for Societal Decision Making. We engage with leading minds in artificial intelligence and societal decision making and explore the intrinsic ways AI is woven into the fabric of our existence. I'm Katy, the host of this podcast and an undergraduate at Carnegie Mellon University. Every day, the decisions we make, from what we buy online to the routes we choose to travel, are influenced more by AI than we might realize. This invisible guide helps optimize our choices, making our lives more convenient and tailored to our preferences. Currently, AI primarily benefits those stable and favorable living conditions. However, in urgent crises such as wildfires or health emergencies, its ability to offer assistance is limited. Therefore, the question arises, can we teach computers to make decisions that benefit society? The AI Institute for Societal Decision Making, abbreviated as AI-SDM, led by Professor Aarti Singh, is at the forefront of this endeavor. Aarti is a professor in the machine learning department at Carnegie Mellon University and director of AI-SDM. Today, we're thrilled to have Aarti with us to shed a light on how AI can be a force for good. Aarti, can you briefly tell us about yourself and your lines of research?
Yeah, hi Katy, thanks for having me. So I'm Aarti Singh, a professor in the machine learning department. My research focuses on developing AI algorithms that can help make better decisions, both in societal context as well as in scientific context. So I work on developing algorithms that are feedback driven. They incorporate feedback, whether it's from humans or from experiments that we conduct, and how we can use those to improve in a continual manner the algorithms that we develop.
Okay. Just for clarification, when you say AI algorithm, do you mean some types of model, like you give input and then the AI can make decision for you?
It is like that, except that instead of just doing input to output mappings, our algorithms can actually do that in a feedback-driven loop, as I mentioned. So they can actually take an input, make some predictions, then also look at, based on those predictions, recommend some actions. And depending on the outcome of those actions, they can go back and refine the predictions and keep doing that in a loop to get better at the task that they are doing.
I'm curious about what is AI-SDM and what are these partners?
So AI-SDM is one of 25 AI institutes that are funded by the National Science Foundation. And this is really in support of US government's vision towards ensuring leadership in AI and towards developing responsible AI that can revitalize our economy and also improve the quality of life. So as part of AI-SDM, we have 8 other partners in addition to Carnegie Mellon University. We have multiple universities such as Harvard University, Howard University, Penn State, Texas A&M, University of Washington, and also Navajo Tech. We also have MITRE, that is a nonprofit organization that runs several federally funded research and development centers, and also a high school, a local high school, Winchester Thurston, that's a core partner. In addition to these partners that are contributing both researchers as well as educators, we are also partnering with external agencies such as both Pennsylvania Department of Emergency Management, Texas Department of Emergency Management, as well as American Red Cross on the disaster front. And on the health side, we have several NGOs, both national as well as international, that we are working with very closely.
I see. Okay. And then I think the main focuses of your work is trying to training some AI model to make a better societal decision. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do you actually mean by societal decision making, and how does AI plays into that field?
Right. So let's first just start with maybe the examples you mentioned that people can relate to more. For example, recommendations about products that they buy, links that they click, or navigation routes. Mm-hmm. So in those domains, AI algorithms behind the scenes are learning from a lot of past data. It's data about your behavior, about your profile, characteristics, and then it's making predictions about what you might like the most. And then it's making recommendations about which movies or which links or products you are most likely to be able to buy. But at the same time, it's also balancing that with the uncertainty of the predictions. What if you have never tried a choice before, right? But it is actually a good choice for you. So it's learning to balance that risk versus reward. That's what AI-enabled decision-making algorithms do. Now let's port that to a societal decision-making setting, particularly in crisis, right? So let's think about people and officials in a public health emergency or a disaster. They have to make decisions under lots of uncertainty with partial, but multiple streams of data. And they may be dynamically changing situations or circumstances. And also, many of these decisions are very timely and often involve life and death decisions. So that's a big ask. And human decision science research shows us that humans are very limited in such complex situations. We often make decisions even without considering all possible options. So that's where the role of AI comes in, that AI can help inform better decisions by, one, combing through multiple streams of data, looking at the uncertainty associated with missing data, partial information. It can play out counterfactual scenarios to help you understand the impact of past decisions. It can make predictions based on past actions you may have taken. It can, both predict what, choices you might make in the future that may be beneficial, but also then recommend decisions based on that are optimal and may maybe optimize some notions of, fairness, efficiency, resource constraints, and so on.
I see. Okay. And another point is that, as you have mentioned, that about the Institute of AI-SDM, what inspired you? What inspired the creation of this institute, and what's the mission and drives this research and works it does?
Yeah. So as I was working on AI-enabled decision-making algorithms, one thing that became very clear to me is that when these systems are deployed in the real world, right, they should be working for humans, right? Otherwise, they will not be adopted.
Right.
So to me, two key challenges were, how can we make these decision-making algorithms human-centric? That's the first challenge. Okay. And the second one, I think, that comes with it is, how can we make people more accepting of the AI-driven decisions, right, or recommendations?
Right.
So for the first part, that's what led to the creation of AI-SDM, that I wanted to reach out to the social scientists on the, that are at CMU or otherwise, who work on understanding human decisions. Because I feel like without understanding human decisions, we cannot make algorithms that can cater to their notions of risk, fairness,
human-centric.
Yeah, exactly. The human-centric AIs. So I put together this team that brings together AI researchers along with social scientists. And referring to the second part, increasing awareness about AI to the public, a third of our team is also education folks who are really working on, from a bottom-up approach, starting at the high school level, then undergrads, grads, and all the way to the current workforce. And how can we train them? How can we upskill them in understanding the impact, both positive and negative, that AI can have on society, and to understand both what it can do and what it cannot do.
Okay. Can you elaborate more about the education things that AI-SDM is doing? What programs are you offering and what the public can be?
Yeah, so we have a range of initiatives. We are working with different high school educators. We are designing a program around professional development for them, which is focused on AI and society. So the main goal of this program is, how can we educate high schoolers about the impact AI is having on their lives? How can we start to think about what are the societal challenges that come with it? How can different AI limitations creep in? How can different societal factors like, again, perceptions of equity, risk, and so on, how can they be incorporated? So we are developing a modular curriculum targeted at high school students that the educators actually will be developing with us in a participatory design, and that they'll be able to take back to their classrooms and incorporate it in their regular programming. Okay. That's just one example. Let me give you another one, which is focused on community colleges. So here we are working with across actually the entire United States, different cultural, different geographical regions, different ethnic, regions that we are trying to really target populations that attend community colleges and give them training on hands-on training on AI and its use in application domains of interest to us like public health and disaster decision making.
Back to the research side of AI-SDM is doing, what specific societal challenge is AI-SDM focusing on? And then is there any initial impact that AI-SDM is already made or envisioned to making?
Right. So at AI-SDM, we are developing AI that can improve decision making to benefit society. And particularly, we are focusing on the two domains I mentioned, public health and disaster management. So let me give you an example in the public health space. One of the projects we are working on is maternal health. So not sure if you're familiar with the statistics, but in the US, a mother, a pregnant person in particular, is 3 times more likely to die of pregnancy complications than any other industrialized nation, right? We all may remember the example of Terry Bowie from this past summer, right? A decorated Olympian still had died of pregnancy complications. So one thing we are looking at are different ways of intervening during a mother's pregnancy to ensure that they stay connected with health services. As an example, some of our team members have worked with health NGOs in trying to direct community health resources, such as community workers making a personalized call to some of the most high at risk patients. So the role AI is playing there is based on the person's medical history, their other characteristics, as well as their past engagement with health services. They are trying to, identify who's most at risk and who's most likely to benefit from having such an interaction.
Yes.
So can we prioritize such patients and actually using that, because we have limited community health workers, right? We can't have them call every possible patient, but by doing this kind of targeted intervention at them, can we improve the rate at which pregnant mothers stay connected with health services? And they show that you can actually achieve up to a 30% improvement in engagement using AI algorithms rather than the state-of-the-art way they were assigning the community health workers to pregnant patients.
That's very impressive. And then the follow-up question can be how can we actually develop trust in the decision made by AI and ensuring they align with the ethical standard and social value? Because in the example you gave, how can those mothers trust the decision that gave by a computer?
Yeah, so trust is crucial in any societal application of AI. And I believe that the way we can develop trust is really a multi-pronged approach. So first, of course, you require algorithms that are not just looking for, the best possible prediction performance of who may be at risk, but you also need to consider factors or these algorithms need to optimize metrics such as fairness, right? Are we really reaching out to all the different, are we balancing across different racial groups, different ethnic groups, different socioeconomic groups, and so on? So one way to achieve that is that AI algorithms can try to optimize multiple metrics, but where should these metrics come from? Who tells us how fair an algorithm should be, right? Or what's the notion of fairness to use? That's where the social scientists on our team come in. I'm really hoping that we can develop metrics that are inspired by human perception of fairness, right? How do people perceive fairness? How do they value fairness versus efficiency in their own decisions and bring that to the AI algorithms?
Right.
So improved AI algorithms for decision making is one part. The second piece comes in, just improved algorithms are not going to develop trust, right? We really need a participatory design where all the stakeholders, whether it's mothers, public health officials, community health workers, they are all engaged in the entire design of the AI system. What I mean by that is from the very beginning, we develop these partnerships. We work with health NGOs, we work with the health officials, both at federal and state levels, to try to identify what are the problems where we should be engaging AI. Is this a right problem? Can we vet the data that we are going to be using to train our models? Can we vet the algorithms we'll develop, the assumptions that go into our models? right, using feedback from these stakeholders, and then go back and refine everything in the entire pipeline. So we really think of it as it's not a one-way feedback. We don't just ask them like what problem, what data you have. We really engage with them throughout the entire process, making sure that the algorithms are living up to the expectations of the stakeholders. And the third part, which I'll mention, it's a three-pronged approach in my mind, is education and training. So we really need to make sure that we are creating that public awareness about AI. And I hope this podcast goes some way in achieving that, so that they understand what AI can do and also what it should not do. And people can then, I think, once they are more familiar with the pros and cons, can make better choices about when to trust AI and when not.
Okay, thank you so much. And then the last question about looking ahead. What do you see as the future of AI in societal, like social applications? And how does AI-SDM positioned to like tackle all of these challenges?
Yeah, so I believe AI can really be a major player in societal applications of AI. But what is really needed is that we take a human-centric approach to developing AI. And a societal application of AI should not be an offshoot or a byproduct of what is really happening nowadays, which is the main goal is geared towards replacing, right, humans or developing algorithms that can do better than humans. That should not be the goal. The goal should be to really put the human front and center and say, how can we augment the capabilities of human decision makers in these societal domains? So I think that's what is going to be the crucial factor in whether or not we can leverage the full potential of these AI algorithms. And AI-SDM is in particular very well situated to tackle that because we really brought together this team of social scientists, AI researchers, and the education folks together to achieve this goal.
Thank you. Yeah, I do think it's very important to differentiate different types of AI, and I hope AI-SDM can help us to better use AI for social good. Thank you, Aarti, for those valuable insights. Before we wrap up, I want to share an exciting opportunity for our listeners. You can now submit your questions for AI-SDM expert directly through a Google form on our websites, www.cmu.edu/AI-SDM. This is your chance to engage with the topics we discussed and have your queries answered in the future episodes. So make sure to subscribe, join us for more explorations into AI's societal impact, and don't hesitate to send us your questions. Stay with us on this journey to understand the evolving role of AI in creating a better future for all.